Welcome to Canadian Justice. I'm Christine Van Geyn, and today we're discussing the rule of law in Canada and the sometimes difficult relationship between courts and legislatures. Canada's constitution creates a system of government where power is divided. Courts interpret the law and enforce the constitution, and legislatures pass laws reflecting the will of voters. But governments must operate within the limits of the constitution. How these institutions, legislatures and courts, interact and where the boundaries lie has long been the subject of debate. When do courts properly interpret the Constitution, and when are they accused of judicial activism? When should elected legislatures defer to courts, and when should they push back? And what role does a constitutional tool like the Notwithstanding Clause play in preserving parliamentary sovereignty? These are questions that have become increasingly prominent in Canada's public debate about the justice system. My guest today is Bronwyn Eyre, the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Saskatchewan. And for her contributions defending constitutional federalism and rights and the rule of law, the Canadian Constitution Foundation, the charity I direct, has awarded her the Cartier MacDonald Award. The award is named after Sir John A. Macdonald and Sir Georges Etienne Cartier, two of the architects of the Confederation. And the award recognizes individuals who have made significant contributions to protecting constitutional freedoms and the rule of law in Canada. Bronwyn, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's start with the award itself. The CCF recently honored you with the Cartier MacDonald Award. What does receiving this recognition mean to you?
Well, thank you so much, Christine. And it was an amazing honor. CCF does amazing work informing and fostering debate, litigating, intervening from a civil libertarian and purist constitutional perspective. And so, very, very proud to be affiliated with it. Amazing work, even just recently of late, that the CCF has been involved in around the plastics ban, the Emergencies Act intervention, and a lot of discussion about Indigenous title in BC and elsewhere. And so, as I say, very important work, and very, very, very proud to have received the award.
So, as I mentioned, the award is named after two of the architects of Confederation, Sir John A. Macdonald and Georges Etienne Cartier. Why do you think their legacy is still relevant to constitutional debates in Canada today?
Well, McDonald was, of course, Mr. Canada. I mean, our Washington, our Abraham Lincoln. And as the saying goes, though, the past is another country. And I think that Prime Minister McDonald has become controversial because modern belief systems are being superimposed on him and on the past, really. I mean, was he perfect? No. Is anyone? No. But McDonald will withstand history, no matter how many streets are renamed, which have been named after him, or statues toppled or vandalized. And as I pointed out upon winning the award, one wonders if the vandals are aware that none other than Pierre Trudeau called himself a John A. McDonald conservative at heart. And as for Georges Etienne Cartier, a great patriot, a great paradox, a once fils de la liberté, son of freedom, who went on to serve as the country's first minister of defense, urged Quebec to join Confederation and convinced it of its place within Confederation. So again, two patriots of the country and amazing namesake for the award.
Now, before entering politics, you had a really diverse career, including working in radio broadcasting as a opinion columnist, and you trained seriously as a ballet dancer before you considered pursuing a career in academics and politics. So maybe you could briefly tell us any lessons you learned from those diverse pursuits.
Well, from dance, I think the power of work and the power of discipline. Dancers and artists, they have to be very hard on themselves. They have to absorb a lot of criticism, and there's no faking the outcome. You either know the steps or know the work, or you don't. So I think that that is quite formative. And in terms of talk radio, interesting to hear people's hunger for debate and information, very formative for politics. I think it gets a
Yeah.
bad rap sometimes because people think it's so
Hmm.
controversial, and yet really people are simply there to talk.
We've got to go to break, but we'll be right back.